we hunt.
Side of the map, and so Mordekaiser isn't totally getting the kind of mitigation that he would like to grant his team in a spot like this.
Looks like we're just about ready, guys. We're gonna hop into game number 1 right now, 2019 LCK Finals.
It's do or die.
Here we are, guys, on to the Rift, what we all came down to see. SKT versus Griffin here in game number 1 of the Summer Finals. They meet again for the second time this year in the finals. We'll see if Griffin can have a better showing than the last time.
And it is a historic moment. We have had many LCK finals through the Champions era, 1 year before the LCS even started. Never has there been back-to-back the same matchup. Team Griffin versus SK Telecom T1 in spring season, a 3-0. SK Telecom T1 in fantastic form, smacking the 2 best-of-5s, 3-0, 3-0, a 6-0 showing. So many people assume this final is over and awarded to SKT before the final has even opened. Opening with some changes we were already alluding to. The Akali flex to top that we'll get into more as the game goes on. Notice that Chovy's gone for a very non-standard rune on the mid lane Silas. It's not Aftershock play on an island. It's actually grasp and be a bit more ball and trade heavy. Maybe plays into his win lane aesthetic.
Yeah, he's definitely going to try to have a higher influence inside of this lane, and the grass will sail really well into the later stages of the game. And really, these two team compositions, it really is a light versus dark side of the force here, Papa, okay? As Griffin, they want to go mid to late game. They scale so much better than SKT, but SKT, they're rolling really well. They have an Infernal Dragon. You have a Lee Sin Renekton covering the mid lane. You're going to have freedom and priority inside of the jungle. You should be able to get that Infernal. That's going to help you against Griffin scaling.
Now let's talk to the viewers about why we were so surprised. I don't think we were even, it was only on the corner of my eye. I said, wait, that's Akali topside in 21 seconds. Because Elise Renekton top has always done what it says on the tin. One stun comes in, it's a targeted one with the W, and then the Elise comes in and snowballs, and it gives you a strong side of the map. And Griffin had already drafted a Tom Kench Xayah lane that we said, okay, this is going to be for defensive stats on the bot side. To me, the only reason to do this is to open up Faker and Cliff to be that invading, roaming duo they've been on the Kiana and other mid lane picks over the course of playoffs, but it is at the cost of now giving Tarzan a very clear person to target.
Yeah, and it looks like Tarzan, he's pathing up into top lane, and interestingly enough, Chovy actually got a cheater recall off against Faker, and for some of those who might be unfamiliar with the term, he was able to pile up the cannon minion wave, crash it into Faker, who doesn't have large enough wave clear to eat it right away, and threaten to re-crash the next wave. And because of the speed difference, Chovy's able to get a recall off, get items, get back to the lane, have it on his side of the lane now, and be defensive with item advantage.
Basically like a free back that didn't cost any real resources.
Why it's a cheater.
Exactly. Well, he's cheating, and he gets his way to a second Doran's ring, which will help with the mana sustain issues that just exist in a manless versus mana.
Especially up against Renekton, who's known for being a painfully and very annoying to play against. Very important that he gets that great start, especially with not only Renekton, but the point is the duo in the mid and jungle with the Elise. The Elise was spotted clearing a ward while Tarzan was up on the top side, so it's full clear for now from both of the jungle. Usually in the jungle, in Korea, but can always situationally jump into the mid lane. Something that Renekton wouldn't be one of those anymore. Just remember the shield that is now available is only a magic damage shield. So very useful against the lead, leaving the dominance from Renekton, but none of the other
So we're getting a little bit of a heavy trade right there. Now remember, Infernal, it's coming up in a couple, I mean, it's already up, but Infernal is going to be on the agenda in a couple of minutes from now.
Look at this lane state too, looking for the flash into the cocoon. Looks like we'll have our first blood, and that one's gonna be given to Faker in the mid lane. Just like that, Renekton and Elise come together.
You transport it to mid lane, it still does exactly what Renekton and Elise as a duo have always done. Chovy walks up and instantly gets flashed on. That's an important first blood, and if they can transfer their lead like we speculated, maybe it doesn't matter how Mordekaiser is doing against Akali, if they can spread the mid lane lead into the bottom.
Right now, Chovy, he's able to teleport back into mid, but remember, Faker, he still has his teleport available, so it's not like he's behind on anything, and depending on how the trade go, he might not even need to use it right away.
And let's consider who loses out the most on this, because you get back in, you haven't got an item lead. Remember, bot lane now has a teleport disadvantage from other lanes, and therefore has to be even more defensive. So we see a lane really frozen and piled up and crashed into the turret with double, triple TP threat. That's just the bot lane paying for the sins of Chovy in the middle.
And Chovy, I mean, he might still have a little bit of CS advantage currently, but really, as Faker has a wave right in front of his turret, and so there is definitely mid lane pressure right now. And while that's a advantage, they're going to need to convert into an Infernal Dragon, because just having a first blood kill is not enough scaling into the mid game, because the innate sneakiness of Griffin is going to be really hard for them to block.
We've still seen a lot of top 10 around nerfs. What we will say though is that compared to the other top lanes that have been much more common, top Varus, for example, that really allows Varus to kind of 1v2 the lane and have no worries whatsoever. Xayah top 10 is much more a damn, isn't this lane safe, rather than any kind of threat behind the tanks behind it. A lot more minimized. And I actually see Ezreal Rakan as a pretty traditional 2v2 lane. However, this is the sort of lane where Ezreal thinks that CS or better, and you get Rakan, actually a very weak 2v2 champion outside the Xayah, through the lane, very safe.
He actually hit Tarzan as he was coming out of the base. Definitely did not mean to do that, but he got a twofer with that True Shot Barrage. So Petty, if you feel unhappy about that.
Sometimes, right?
Well, I mean,
Sometimes the charm.
Already, we've talked about mental states a lot in the pre-show and before getting into this one. We gotta hope that Griffin is holding on to that here in this first game.
Mental state, lull state, we can just visit all the states. I don't know how many states there are in League of Legends.
Going a little road trip together.
I'll tell you that much. I'm waiting for it. You know that it's coming, Pop. Wait for 14 minutes to roll around. Give it some time.
When SKT, for some reason, with their early comp, maybe will just sit mid and farm, we can expect it to happen in at least one of these games, if not all of them. As, yeah, just really getting off to a good start here is SKT. Talked about that first Drake Infernal, having an early gold lead and having the ability to skirmish with that lead just kind of guarantees the Drake even more. So it's just adding to the snowball on top of their early comp, and we'll have to wait and see when he does go for that, as for now he's heading down towards the bottom side.
Coming down to the bottom, maybe looking to make something happen. Running cooler control board, so that's Now, I'm curious if they're actually going to try to get the Infernal Dragon. They have the sword on the red. If Ronnie goes to the red, they could try to launch some sort of opportunity or capture on the Infernal.
That is for sure the order of operations, because that's what you need. The only point for that is to know when Silas will flashing top side, and if the red buff is lasting a really long time, you know Sejuani is almost inevitably going to be bot side. So they get that information, and no surprise that Clid uses that exact point to at least investigate his options bot side.
It's almost like you guys read the script, but instead of going for the dragon, he wants to go down to the bottom side. Just Penny and Effort are both low on mana. Effort goes for the engage, but a couple of wards that actually spawned the Elise coming in prior to that one Solange and Viper.
My guess is that they've been communicated with wards in the area that they can't necessarily clear out, so safety first in the decision there. Ships in the night, Sejuani going bot side is Clid, looking for a repeat.
Taker has flash again. We could just see Deja Vu here if he wants to go for it. Trying to bait Toby forward. This time he's going to use the dash. Dominus used by Toby, but it's not going to be enough as the splash comes through from Faker again. And SKT pick up a second kill.
And I mean, it's disastrous in the mid lane because the Silas shouldn't be dying like this. Toby's positioning in the lane, he's not playing around it, nor is he respecting it. This is going to be SK Telecom picking up the Infernal Dragon. Let's see what kind of stat bolstering it gives to the Elise right here. 1070 AD, 97 AP
It's
right
going to be like
now.
12 AP.
Yeah. There you go.
10.
Pretty good. A little bit more than half of offensive in the physical damage department.
Now, there's such a short lead on Chovy that you remember during the trash talk when they talked about Chovy's effortless and strong mechanics, Faker yawned. Because this is one of those ways to deal with a player who will try to manufacture solo leads. Bring in your jungler, bring in a very high pressure duo, and at home, if you guys can understand what Chovy's going through, he knows that it must jump off the mountain. His life can be void during a CC bar where he can't react. So you're always playing around, I wonder if the Elise is there. He hasn't had forward vision, Sejuani hasn't been able to get wards on camps like that, ward that's still on. The red buff left with the names to have been there for so long from SKT.
Which is really strange that it didn't go down. Take a look at the flash cooldown here. It's gonna come up right before the gank hits, but he's just not able to use it. The CC bar is too long, and then after that he already knew he was dead, so didn't bother using it.
The thing about this is both of these games or ganks, he's been playing center pocket inside of the lane. He doesn't have any wards on either side, but in addition to this, he's not getting intel from the jungler about what side and pockets he could maybe play on, and it's looking like the most cookie-cutter games.
But we know that Chovy is a really good player, so is he trying to next level that tries to represent that he has vision, or is it a Chovy problem? One-time, two-time, you kind of have to follow up the Fraser at some point and say, play towards division, mate, what are you doing so far?
I mean, they have the vision set up right now that they should have had previously leading up to this. And even if they can't have it as good as they have it right now, there's still ways to play around the Elise and play left, right pockets inside of the lane, knowing that you can't get ganked. But they weren't doing that. They find themselves down now 1,300 gold, which isn't catastrophic at 13, 14, 15 minutes in the game. Kelly's going to be captured up in the turret plate, but Griffin, as we move into the mid-game, I have a hard time saying that they're really far behind. I think that they're slightly behind. That's the team that's going to do more than
Chovy spotted coming on down. It looks like Teddy and Effort should know about this, trying to clear out the wave as fast as possible, even using Arcade Shift, saying get the hell out of bot lane, and Clid very comfortably going to take down Shelly and look to take some play to the top lane.
Very telegraphed play coming through from Griffin. You pick Mordekaiser to be strong on the weak side. Speaking of the weak side, I see 2v1, but Mord has an ultimate turn.
Oh, he landed that one. Already a ton of damage down onto Doran, but you can tell, as Papa was saying, They don't want to go for the dive just because of the champion that Mordekaiser is. They'll get a bunch of the gold, but they're not going to go ham. Not yet 2-on-1.
What's really interesting, if they can land the repel and kill him within the CC time and activate that death realm.
All right, no flash available.
The mini game.
Oh, he's going to flash the Cocoon, but it's still maybe enough damage. We're in the death realm here. Doran trying to get him down, but the repel is enough. Take X-Blade to go 1v1. And Khan casually going to take out the turret.
Let's remember that you pick Mordekaiser to last a long time in a undermanned scenario. No one can 1v2 on the weak side better than Mordekaiser, and Griffin still do pick up the current bot lane first, which is what their plan was. If you drop Mordekaiser, don't play on Mordekaiser's side of the map. So yes, kill does get picked up by SKT, but we still counted the seconds before the kill was actually ready.
Definitely saw what was going to happen for SKT. It was a nice flash attempt by Doran, but the repel, there's nothing really he can do about it. He's calling him a cheater right now. That's a fact.
Elise is a fun champion. She's exquisite at ganking in the early game, and I wanted to touch on that point, SKT trying to attack Griffin really strong here in game number 1. Their comp was kind of phased up. We have Renekton and Elise. We are going to get you. We're going to try to win lane. And so far, they've been doing exactly that, getting into the heads of Griffin.
And now you probably know this already when you have a 2-0-1 jungler versus a 0-0-0 jungler, but SKT have made the game about what they wanted to do and win it one. Always specifically they got that smart Elise Renekton system. No surprise, we saw that coming. They also read the only play Griffin really fast to make, which is try to send 4-5 members bot lane to try to get still were able to get that top side. Outside of the bot lane.
We see right now happening like in the capture of the Dragons. Normally I'm not a big advocate of taking Drakes like these, but SKT's top, they need a leg to stand on in the later stages. They need to roll more Infernals like they just did. Very talented right there. But also, Elder Dragon's really important for them. If the game goes that far, they're going to need more answers for what they currently have. Because Griffin's almost going to win.
I want to bring these down. I agree with you. When we get into the weeds, when we get into the 35s, there's a bit worrying. Sending a million people bot lane.
Yeah, poor Joby. Looks like they're going to hold off on the gank though, so you can continue.
The now is Spear Shojin done for Renekton. We know that makes him a boss in the 1v1. We have Gunblade done for Akali, and we're almost on 2 items for an Ezreal. In the mid lane, looking for dive.
Here we go. Nice thunderstorm to get Viper to safety. They don't quite have the damage here on the head. Faker is going to hop out because of that, but what about Blade? He has to flash over, and Doran, he's looking to hunt right now, going 1v1, but Blade is able to get out there as Faker. SKT reaches for the kills, not able to get it.
Remember, SKT have those remaining early spike items. Remember that we have a Zonia's Rush from the side. That's damage the double silence around this time of the game because the Zonia's very much stable. We also have a Mordekaiser who buys time, a Silence who buys time, and then of course Ryan's still building with a building block item like that. Griffin already have the scaling advantage. They're also kind of waving the white flag and saying, well, we died slow. They don't really have much else. So in almost any configuration, 4-1, 1-3-1, whatever fancy doodads you have in terms of lineup, SKT have a massive objective. So it's on them to smash and grab now. If anything, Griffin are encouraging.
Yeah, Griffin right now, they want to fight, well, they want to wait, I'm sorry. SK Telecom, they're the ones that want to fight Griffin. They want to slow down, wait until later stages. They also have the Mordekaiser, which is really interesting for Baron stealing potential. He can go over, take the jungler into the death realm, and then your jungler can secure the smite. But SKT rolling a second Infernal Dragon, I mean, that's a nightmare for Griffin.
And remember, that's usually relevant when Griffin actually have control of the pit, which, with all those items in advance, is going to be really hard to get for the foreseeable future. But yes, it can be very relevant as the game goes on. And I guess if everyone goes through a trust fall and flashes into the pit, crazy things can happen.
And absolutely, as the game goes on, with the LCK Summer Final without one of those crazy moments as, you know, we were talking about this early to mid-game comp.
Damn.
Right now is SKT, they're sitting back in their lawn chair. They've got their ice-cold beverage on the right side. They are enjoying life
I like
so
to think they're
much
like,
right now.
they're like tasting the soup they're cooking up. It's just right.
Yeah,
Exactly correct. Correct temperature, correct ingredients. Here's the scene of the crime. 3v2 so far.
Yeah, feels so good right now for SKT. Right now, that is. They do have to make something happen here. They were thinking about a gank and a dive onto Toby again, but we did have Tarzan this time shadowing the game.
The semi-scary part, though, in the game. You can see that they're grouping, they're getting a lot of pressure in some of these lanes, but they can't really perforate any of the defenses of Griffin. They can't force Griffin to fight, but the one thing that is coming up in a minute and a half is the Infernal. Will Griffin risk a fight over it? Because that's definitely going to be a fight SK Telecom, you should assume, should have the better leg up in and should be able to capture, which is really unfortunate if you're a Griffin fan.
How could it be anything more than a prank when you have the itemization disadvantage? I think it would be categorically incorrect to fight an even fight, maybe even a 5v4 fight because of where the itemization is at. So
I mean, Teddy had his 2 item spike with Trinity Force, not Iceborne Gauntlet, so he's even tankier, or not tankier, he does more damage, and now he picked up a QSS on top of that, so he's not going to get isolated by a Sejuani, by a Mordekaiser, or anything like that. This guy is going to be dealing damage.
So we have to assume that the Drake will be uncontested, and then when we really start ascertaining whether SKT is missing a window or not, is how do they set up afterwards. However, that is only our theory crafting. It's a final. These are proud players. Who's to say we don't try to 5v5?
Well, Infinity Edge was actually completed by Viper in time for this Dragon, so even though Mordekaiser doesn't have the Leandri's Torment, and Protobelt is missing on the side of Chovy, it's not that bad of a situation that it just was a minute ago, where I didn't think that Viper was going to be able to complete the item in time, but he has it.
I'm not sure I'm willing to come with this trust fall, but let's see it. I'm ready for some
boy,
blood.
Doran could be in a lot of trouble. Look at the burst, not even able to use his ultimate, and down goes the Mordekaiser just like that. Griffin, if they had any thought about fighting for the Infernal Drake, they certainly don't now.
Doran in his first best of 5, face checks the bush he needed to know the information for, and paid for it with his life. It's going to be a Drake, it's going to be turrets, it's going to be a whole lot of things going the way of SK Telecom T1.
The 2,000 gold lead, another Infernal Dragon picked up. They're not rolling quite that good on the next one, though. It is a Cloud Dragon, which is not going to be the most beneficial.
Perfect, they'll put all their vision around the Baron and get Baron instead.
All right. You reading off the script or what?
You know, that's what they're going to be looking for anyway, right? Especially with their timings. I mean, it's 22 minutes in the game. They got double Infernal. Look at all the items. I mean, there's this stopwatch and a Banshee's Veil on 3-0 on Elise. Akali's going to have her next item here in a moment. Already Renekton and Ezreal, we've talked about them. Griffin definitely coming up short for now.
Look at the itemization by Clid. How troll is this? Banshee Veil, stopwatch, and it's Elise. So much ability to turret dive a Mordekaiser who can't necessarily pop the Banshee Veil as the Elise enters that easily. There's skill shots involved in that. So because of that, there's a lot of threat everywhere Elise goes. No surprise though, we can tell already with a 300 bounce.
The thing for Griffin as well is that with the Quicksilver Sash already on Teddy, it's not like Doran can remove the Ezreal from the fight temporarily and grant his team the ability to fight against an SK Telecom that's lacking an AD carry. So it's going to be really unfortunate for Griffin because we're moving to the stage of the game where normally you would expect it should tip into their favor, but because of the kills, the CS advantages, the double Infernal, everything is just in SKT's favor.
So let's dub or allude to a game state the fans at home could look at and say, wow, Griffin could actually win from here. And to me that is, Mordekaiser would say a Baron buff or the ability to actually take someone in the 1v1 and then a front-to-back standard team fight with Sejuani, Silas, and Tom Kent zoning for a super kind of complete build Xayah. That's exactly what Griffin is looking for, but that is not what all these early item power spikes like Shojin and Gunblade and just the map control that SKT has currently exists, but that is a future Griffin at RSVP.
Griffin, I mean, they're probably still around 16, 17 minutes away.
Oh, we're talking 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're talking
final.
40, 43 minutes for the Xayah, Mordekaiser, and Silas to really come online in the face of the double Infernal. And that means that we're talking Elder Dragon and SK Telecom with the way that the game's looking. That's a really scary Elder.
You're going to have someone probably die and make a mistake on the side of SKT if you want to take any fights anytime soon. So pretty much all the objectives are going to be SKT's. They would love this mid turret so they can put a lot more pressure on the Baron. So far, it hasn't been so great because Xayah has been doing a good job of clearing that out.
LS, I want you to put a phone call into your cousin Highstand. Ask him about when do we start looking at SKT? Let's come from a very kind of expected perspective, because remember SKT are coming in dominantly to this final. When do we start looking at the map and saying they're not getting enough, they're not pushing for enough? What is the next objective that SKT need to be building towards, and what should that look like to the viewers at home?
Well, I mean, at this point in the game, it can pick up the Cloud Dragon, and then ideally they roll a third Infernal. That'd be very talented of them.
But is the free Drakes enough, given the scaling is so in Griffin's corner?
If they get Elder Dragon, it's going to be lights out. The Ezreal can single-handedly destroy Griffin at that point if he has a 5 Elemental Dragon Elder bolstering all of his damage. So realistically, the problem for SKT, the reason they can't turn to the Baron immediately, is actually the Mordekaiser. He can go over the wall. If Elise has the Banshees pop, he can then just trigger to the Death Realm and grant Tarzan the possibility to have steal. And that's just something that SKT can't risk right now. SKT, realistically, they're going to be in the long haul. I think they're going to need Elder to close unless Griffin make a big one.
I mean, they're trying to get that mid lane turret, which will just open up a lot of those options you were talking about. And already, Ezreal here, Teddy, he's arcane shifting forward even after the cooldown nerf to the Ezreal on this patch. He's feeling it right now. As you mentioned, if they can get to Elder, he's going to be popping off in a gigantic way. And already, I mean, we're looking at SKT members that are a good half item, in some cases even an item ahead. We'll see if they can push it forward here in this game.
So how do you exit a stalemate, a lull state, whatever you want to call it? The most common way is to actually exhaust the enemy of vision and then make a Baron play where they have to face. And that's something that could happen in this game. Always note how many control boards the Riven have, because they don't have the run of the river if you want spoilers around Baron. And it's going to happen after the early game SKT had. So because of that, playing around, skirmishing around, exhausting vision, then starting Baron is the easiest way to make Griffin hesitate and face him.
Take a look at Toby. He's like, please let me get rid of that Banshee's Veil just one time.
Nope.
And the answer is no. We're going 1v1 now on the Death Realm Faker against Doran, and actually pretty even for now. We have a bunch of fighting outside of it. The Faker has to be careful, but there's the Devourer to get Doran to safety as he got low himself. So mid laner and the top laner go head to head, but at the end, SKT still in the better position. Will be able to pick up that tree.
They're going to be able to pick it up, and now will the Infernal, it's going to be another Cloud Dragon. So not the best roll for SKT, but one that they're going to have to accept nonetheless. As now the question becomes, can they somehow get Baron on the menu, or are we looking at another 13 minutes before the Elder starts to become a real possibility?
What we are looking at is a nerfed Ezreal, but Teddy needs to calm down. His deft impression of hitting every single skill shot is forcing Viper and Lahans to use resources they just don't want to. And I think SKT need to be a lot less respectful, and
boy.
Teddy got the message.
Yeah, the Cutlass comes in, and Lahens has to flash, essentially 1v1. As he was just a little bit too close to the sun. That sun's shining really brightly right now for Teddy as he's just doing it live in the mid lane.
And while it's not a face check that they necessitate, that was lazy from the hands. He's trying to freeze the minion wave and allow time for his AD carry to get back. His AD carry was nowhere near mid, no business walking up to this Ezreal that was already kind of looking at Viper and making him scared. So there's another resource, and suddenly Lahans isn't a get out of jail free card, especially after the victory of Tom Kenchner.
Well, in the game, Teddy, he's putting on a bit of a show, at least in mid. He gets the flash out of Lahans. He has the Blade of the Ruin King completed
Where
now.
are we going?
Okay, we're going to try to gank on the Faker. He will respect it with the flash. You talked about that Infinity Edge. Now we're on 3.5 items for that Zaya. So the time's ticking, the clock's ticking here. And Griffin are getting stronger by the minute, and they're trying to make some plays with it. But Teddy, look at him go 1v4. This guy just doesn't give a damn right now. He's going to chunk out the two of them, and now we're looking for Lahans, who does not have that flash. Kali in the bot lane, but take a look at Teddy. He's still going 1v4, and now they're going to start the Baron.
Have to replace the TP ward over the wall. See what happens here. Kali, level 16 in the side lane with a death cap.
Looking for Doran here. He is going to get that charm down, but not really much of a follow-up. Teddy a little bit too far away from that one.
They really, really wanted Mordekaiser to ult. That is what they were fishing for there, was the Mordekaiser ultimate, because then the Baron hiding to alluded multiple times are not available. Here's that death cap of Kali.
Well, they're going to get the ult out of this one in the 1v1, and take a look at Teddy. Just watch this Ezreal. He's looking for it, gets the flash. Here comes Khan over the turret, going for the kill. Would have had some help from his buddy Teddy, but he's able to do it alone as they kill Doran for the third time in this game.
And they have a 50-second death timer on the Mordekaiser. Are they going to get the Baron during this death timer? Yes, he has teleport available, but perhaps they're going to give Griffin a little bit too much respect.
I don't know if they
So
should.
hold on.
Looking at the vision, only one control ward left, and everything else around the river is controlled by SKT. They're getting a reset off this. A lot of control wards fought further. So their first focus seems to be just doubling down on teamfight itemization. There was a window there, LS, and one they might be frustrated that they didn't accept.
And I mean, that's gonna really be sad for them, as they're gonna have to now settle with getting another Cloud Dragon, and then Elder will come up. But the problem is, that Elder comes up at the very threshold we talked about earlier, where in the face of the double Infernal, the base scaling and the item scaling on Griffin, it will come online. We will get a team fight.
Well, Khan, well and truly online, made Doran experienced top laner versus rookie top laner matchup. Years ago, Khan was on the winning side against SKT when they tried to run the entire gauntlet from Wildcard. Cooney versus Khan was the matchup on that day. SKT were 3-1 by Monster. Probably the biggest upset we've had in an LCK final. Here we are 2 years later. SKT, we saw the bad vote, we saw the protein vote. Heavily, almost 4-1 odds ahead. 80% of people have said that SKT are going to take it down, and really nothing in the first 32 minutes would make you change your mind.
The script would.
Wait.
Hold the phone, guys. Enough about the script.
Wait.
Was this on your script? 156 damage for the Sejuani?
Let me check, hold on.
That's even less than the Skarner from Cacao, so...
This person's handwriting is terrible. It was 100 and,
To be fair,
157.
can you remember where that could have come? Was it when he kind of went bot lane and just kind of brushed somebody? Who was like level 2 double, like 156 being very...
Yeah, he sweeped someone with the W, and I think that was it. I mean, he is sitting on 0-0-0. You talked about that before.
He's got more than 152 damage stacking up in there.
It's true. This is,
Why aren't they taking Cloud?
oh, we're looking for Teddy here, but he's got a QSS, and he's looking to turn it back as Clid. Look at the damage, the poke coming out. Baker's going into the back line, and we have a Kali coming in from behind as well. There is no chance for Griffin to win this fight, unfortunately, as 4 guys immediately going to get wrecked here in the river, and SKT with a massive lead now, looking for the ace as they chase down the middle.
SKT.
Whose river did they think it was? Griffin had no control of this river the entire game. Easy flank teleport, and how much can SKT take?
Well, I mean, at this point, Toby, he wasn't there for the team fight. The death timers are way too high. Chovy, he's gonna try to be a hero.
Oh, we're doing it. They don't even want the Baron. Chovy trying to go in there, immediately dies. 0 and 3 on the game, and that's going to be 1-0 in favor of SKT as they will be taking down the Nexus here in game number 1.
And I mean, this is the kind of game that can mentally affect players. How is Doran feeling? Getting his champion that you know that he wanted, and then blundering in some situations, as well as Chovy just getting run over in mid lane.
And it's even more serious than what you're already saying. Consider that we're expecting this series to be entirely red side. Griffin have side selections game 1, game 3, and game 5. It was their side selection, and they lost on red. If you're a tennis fan, it feels like SK Telecom T1 broke their serve, Valdez, in this game by beating them on blue side. And like you say, the history comes back. It was almost a perfect game, just that turret when the Mordekaiser was able to slow things down topside was the only objective claim. And I'm sure Tarzan's not too keen on having damage numbers showing for this series.
And I mean, Tarzan can't be feeling all that good about this game number 1, especially because definitely there was something off in the early stages with the vision play around mid, especially knowing that you were going up against Renekton Elite. And that's why the play across the board is so uncharacteristic of Griffin.
Renekton and Elise mid means your mid laner needs help, and Tarzan really wasn't able to achieve much. So while we're not saying you should have done more damage, more mechanics on the Sejuani, we are saying the Sejuani is a very important chess piece for two laners that are melee champions that can snowball through what a Sejuani can provide, and it certainly was jungle difference that was the biggest separator between the two teams.
Oh boy, well, he's not even going to hit 1,000 damage. He was able to shore up about 750 maybe in that last fight, but literally he just was not able to do anything in that game once his mid laner got behind them. That is not a game 1. If you're a Griffin fan, you want to see this one and come in with some confidence. SKT just wrecked them, kind of like a game 3 from what we saw against Sandbox and Domwon.
And remember, this is not solo queue with perfect comms. Sejuani wasn't able to coordinate anything this game, which says a lot about team communication and also those synergies, because they were definitely down on the mid lane 2v2. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what to say about that one, guys. We thought perhaps this time would be the charm, the third one for Griffin here, but already SKT looking unbelievably strong here in this first game. So we'll have to wait and see how that script comes along, late script, because Griffin are going to have to go back into that room and try to shore up something that they were not able to bring into game number 1, because that is not a Griffin that can compete with SKT tonight if we do get a repeat of that. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break. When we do come back, we are going to go into game number 2 of SKT versus Griffin.
마무리해줘. 바로 먹자, 바로 먹자.
야, 잠깐만, 미드 가자, 미드 가자. 이거 끝날 것 같은데, 미드 와봐, 미드 와봐.
미드. 가보자.
미드 와봐.
가보자. 물어도 돼, 상경.
몇 가지?
오케이. 웨이브? 이거 끝날만해.
끝날만해. 끝날 것 같아, 나는.
가자.
오케이, 가자.
웨이브 지키고.
사이 스펠 알려줄 사람?
나 프리스 다 있어.
오케이. 이거 철거 나 최대한 늦게 해줄게. 탱해줘 먼저. 이거 나 힐도 있어. 탱해줘 계속. 끝내자. 끝났다.
끝날 것 같은데?
끝난 거 같아. 끝내자.
이제 이거 첫판 잘했고 단판 잘했고.
끝내. 나이스요. 주문. 나이스. 오케이. 들어가서.
때리지 말고.
has been slain.
Monsters can be made to fear. weakness.
An enemy has been slain.
Catch their trail.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
I seek only the strongest.
Shut down.
Carve off the
Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret.
easy prey.
An ally has been slain. Shut down. An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Rampage. Shut down.
Catch their trail.
An enemy has been slain. Slain enemy. Triple kill. Your team has destroyed